We have identified the most interesting parts of the governor's announcement, which was delivered without a teleprompter. Here's the part where Kasich made his case as a compassionate conservative.
And how about those that struggle to make ends meet? You know, some people just say, oh, well, just work harder or pull yourself out by your bootstraps. I believe in all that. Some people just don't have the fortune that many of us have. If you're drug addicted, we're going to try to rehab you and get you on your feet. If you're mentally ill, prison is no place for you. Some treatment and some help is where you need to be. You're the working poor. We're going to give you an opportunity to take a pay raise and not bang you over the head because you're trying to get ahead.
Mark, I'm sure there are people who will call me a squish, but I have to say that when Kasich talks that way, when he talks about his compassion, when he speaks his heart, I find it to be probably the most compelling thing about him, and certainly the thing that sets him apart from a lot of the other Republicans most distinctively.
And there's no question that it helped get him elected governor of this state and made him a popular and somewhat successful governor. You look at the other governors now, Bobby Jindal, Chris Christie, Scott Walker, they are in their states divisive figures. You can travel a lot around those states and try to find a Democrat who feels good about their governor. There's some, but not a lot. In this state, because of language like that, even in the day I've been here, you meet Democrats, even if they didn't vote for him, who have warm feelings towards John Kasich, and I think that's a big part of his appeal if he's going to do well in this race.
60% approval rating, hard to top that.
Let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more. This is Governor Kasich talking about his Buckeye State record of governance.
A lot of hopelessness here, particularly among the poor and minorities. People said maybe Ohio's best days are behind them. I thought that was just a bunch of baloney. And I said not only will we get this budget balanced, but we'll cut taxes 4.5 years later. $8 billion in the hole, $2 billion surplus. A loss of 350,000 jobs, a gain of 350,000 jobs. And tax cuts of $5 billion, the largest in the country.
John, when governors run, we talk about can they sell an X miracle, their state's miracle. Is there an Ohio economic miracle or other miracle that you think he can sell to Republican voters?
I do. I think, look, the Ohio's economic story, there's a lot of credit to go around. I mean, some of it belongs to the Obama administration and the auto bailout. But look, if you compare it, again, as you did on the earlier thing we just discussed, if you compare it to the state of Louisiana, the state of Wisconsin, the state of New Jersey, compared to other governors, the Ohio economy is miraculous and it's very strong. And Kasich can make the case that he had played a big part in making it that way.
The other thing is he is very much of this state. He very much feels the culture of the state, the people of the state, the sports teams of this state. And that, I think, again, if he's going to convince people that there's a narrative of his life, of his personal life and how it matches up with his professional life and in this job, I think Ohio is a big calling card for him. And again, he's passionate about his state in a way that very few governors I've ever covered are.
Well, and look, and just to make the obvious point, Ohio, pretty important state to win in the fall of 2016, and John Kasich would have a reasonable chance of doing that given how popular he is. So the Ohio story is big for him. All right, finally, let's get to a final little piece of video here. Here's what John Kasich said about being the budget guy par excellence.
And we wrote a budget for the United States of America. And why? Everybody knows me as a budget guy. It's not about numbers. It's about vision. It's about values. And we do not have the right, as grown-ups, to ring up debts to suit ourselves and pass them on to the next generation. We don't have that right. You know what? They said it couldn't be done. They said it was too big, too hard, too much politics. And we proved them wrong again, and we balanced that federal budget. We balanced it.
Look, Mark, there's no doubt that John Kasich played a big part in a period of, in terms of balancing the budget back in the 90s. There's no doubt about that. I have a question about whether that issue is as salient now, given the fact that deficits are falling, given that there are other economic issues that matter more in 2016 as it would have some years in the past. But it is a really important part of his record, and he's right to stress it.
And he's right in theory that he knows sort of how to deal with budgets. I just think making that tangible, making that part of an exciting narrative of possibility and optimism, I think it's going to be hard to do. He can argue it. We'll see how he talks about it when he's out there as a full-time candidate. But I think that is something he's proud of, but difficult to sell politically.